All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and if you've been sitting with us for the last 10 minutes, welcome again to the live reveal of our Winter 2020 NJPR. Um, I'm Koopa. I'm one of the panelists that have been on the PR for the last couple of years now, and joined by, as always, our streamer and presenter, the man behind the keyboard, Mr. Chris Elodian. How are you, sir?
Doing quite well today. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing well, hanging in there the best I can with everything happening around us. And we are now joined. You know him. He's been a staple on the New Jersey PR for the last few seasons, and for
tell
this,
me more.
yeah, I'm just trying to inflate your ego. You know, it's all about actually fire started. Yeah, it's Maverick Hunter. So what's up, man?
Hey everyone. Hi everyone.
Yes. So just to kind of do some housekeeping before we get into this. As you guys know, our season got, I don't want to say abruptly ended, but
It was pretty abrupt, you could say.
yeah, we
quite
lost,
literally, yes.
due to the outbreak of COVID-19 and such. We lost about 3 weeks on our season, which I don't want to, it could have made a difference, could have not have made a difference, but we did have enough to get everything done. So this is going to be from the seasons of January through whatever we were able to finish in March before everything got put on lockdown. Wi-Fi tournaments that were between the time of the quarantine to now did not count for obvious reasons. More on that later, or not more on that later, because I don't really know what we're going to do upcoming. I'm going to be 110% honest.
We'll just speculate, man. One thing I do want to note, based off of what you just said, as far as not missing much, or finishing what we could. I'm trying to think what time or when everything got shut down, but I think as far as the New Jersey schedule went, there was only one monthly left, which was the Forge, which does bring in a good draw. So that was a kind of a good chunk missing. And I'd say, what do you think? About 2 to possibly 3 weeks worth of weeklies were missing.
Yeah,
I think that's like
we probably lost out on a couple of fusions, a couple of DNAs, a couple of Platinum Star weeklies, which are obviously big contributors, to a lot of the rankings.
They're the only contributors. You guys will see. You'll see in the slides. It's pretty amazing. But
yeah,
those
you'll
things,
see.
yeah.
It's we obviously there's some tournaments that were kind of that didn't make the cut to be officially counted due to an entrance count, which is an official rule. If you guys read the rule set, I think you have to break 20 entrants for anything to be considered PR eligible. But
so while you're on that, do you want to get into rules as far as the way things kind of work this time around, or what was it much different than last time?
It's a lot. No, not really. We kind of had to play it just slightly closer to the vest this time around, just because there wasn't a lot to play with, obviously, because everything just got kind of abruptly shut down. But shout out to Rickles in the chat, by the way. I hope he's playing on Wi-Fi while he's watching us.
Dude, he's winning quarantine series today.
Yeah. You really gotta wreck your bandwidth, man. But
Only on Wi-Fi.
only on Wi-Fi.
Only with
yeah,
Canon.
no, it was pretty much the standard stuff. You have to be a resident of New Jersey. You have to have attended at least 3 events, or something of that nature. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's I think we might have changed it to where you only have to attend one in-state event or a PGR eligible event. For some of our players that can't do that, obviously. And just in general panel news. So just to kind of raise the curtain on what was going on here. This is a season we did with a new panel for the first time in I'd say a couple of years. Just for total transparency, Biddy chose to leave the panel. He's since moved on to greener pastures, I guess, with Pokemon.
He said he was tired of you guys. That's what he said.
Yeah, he said
He moved on from the baby mode party game to the baby mode RNG game.
Yeah. Yeah, but Biddy is no longer on the panel, so he was subsequently replaced this time around with Maverick Hunter. So he was an added addition. Our Hungry, who's been on the panel for as long as I have, I think for the last 2-3 years. Hungry did not participate this time around because he literally has the coronavirus. So hope he's feeling better. But this time around, he did not participate. Next time around, I'm sure things will be different, hopefully. But his health was obviously more important this time around. And James kind of went MIA. We're not really sure what happened to James, but he just kind of was AFK for the last couple weeks, so he was nowhere to be found. So he was he needed to hire some extra help, in which we brought in Atomisk. So Trevor was along with myself, Mav, and RJ helped put this together. So if you guys have any complaints or any problems with that, obviously just take it up with me and RJ, because we were the ones that had to hire the mercenaries. But literally there is an emergency. It was impossible to get in touch with one panel member, and one guy literally has COVID. So I if anybody has any qualms with that, there are people that are less. I can't think of anybody that's like less like qualified than Mav and Trevor. Trevor's been a staple.
Trevor, yeah. I don't know about me.
Dude,
Well,
all right.
You've been a TO for a few years.
Yeah, let's cut that crap. Like, you've been
Yeah,
around since Smash 4. You've been PR'd, I think, what's it, like the past 4 or 5 seasons? So
Like
6 seasons, 7 seasons, whatever, man. You know,
kind of all right.
you've played everybody. You know what's going on. Everything's all good, honestly. Like, this stuff, this is all free work. So I don't think anyone's really gonna be mad. And if you are, you can take that up with me, and we'll just we'll meet at the flagpole.
I'm like
at
half
3
joking
p.m.
about myself. I know I'm fine.
Yeah.
Don't talk shit about Trevor, though, or I'll fight you.
Yeah, you've been a TO for a while. Trevor's been furniture in several New Jersey communities for a while. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the housekeeping stuff. So, Trevor's obviously in quarantine series. RJ has adult things that he obviously has to do. So he's out of commission today. So it's gonna be myself and Mav that are the panelist representatives. And yeah, Chris is gonna be running the slideshow like he usually does. I guess without further ado, we can definitely get started here. So.
Here we go.
Yeah, so this time around, it's actually, I would say, more exciting. There's been a lot of shakeups, and this is even before all the proverbial shit hit the fan. So there was a lot of things going on, a lot of crazy events between, like, Frostbite and Glitch and all kinds of results.
Genesis is thrown in
Yeah,
there
Genesis,
as well,
of course. And then outside of that, all of our usual stuff. So with that in mind, who wants to introduce? We're starting from number 1 again, right? That's the usual thing we do.
Yes.
All right. So with that in mind, who would like
first.
to? Okay, you go first.
You got this, Koopa.
Yeah. So starting off with number 1, as Chris gets the transition ready, is Tweak. So the first shakeup from this time around, Tweak and Tweak dethroning Nairo as number 1 in the state. As you can see from Tweak's results, obviously, not placing in outside of single digits in any of the S tiers that he went to, winning a handful of whatever monthlies or locals he chose to show up to, most of the time. And the big just without revealing too much, he did have the head-to-head win on Nairo this season, which did make the difference this time around. These two are so close in skill level that there's only really so much we can say. I think the big story for Tweak is that he's been definitely fallen back in love with Wario, much to everyone's chagrin, but the character's good. So, he's obviously he's got great top tier wins, as well as, winning an S tier literally in the beginning of the year with Glitch. So,
yeah, and that was over Dark Wizzy, and that was this is after, like, Tweak. You don't want to, I hate saying the term, like, fell off, but, like, it was one of those things where he would perform well but not quite finish it out, and I think he sort of got rid of that problem this season because, he did win Glitch 8 and did plays very well in Frostbite despite losing against his demon MKLeo, but I mean, it's also MKLeo, so what are you going to do?
Yeah,
the literal number 1 in the world, yeah.
But,
but again, we don't have to spend too much time here. Good stuff on Tweak, obviously. Take dethroning Nairo, and I guess without much hesitation, we can kind of smoothly transition to the number 2.
Yeah, since he is dethroned.
Whoa.
Yeah,
what?
whoa. Yeah, so again, Nairo not placing out of the single digits in any of the events that he attended this time around. Starting off the year strong, winning Let's Make Big Moves over DeBuzz, and that was looking like not a fun time for him. I forgot DeBuzz sent him in the losers that weekend, so he had to win 2 sets from DeBuzz. Obviously, I almost missed the bus home to watch the tournament happen live, but again, the big difference here between why Nairo's number 2, Tweak's number 1 is because Tweak they played once, Tweak won, and that was pretty much the deciding factor. There isn't really anything too extreme about it. Naira only had to play one tournament this year with Nerfed Palutena. Obviously, if things continued to stay the same, then you could maybe argue that things could have been different moving into April and May. But a lot of that stuff is up in the air, as a lot of things are being canceled left and right. But Naira obviously still both these guys, top 5 players in the world and top 2 players respectively in their state. So you can pretty much just flip a coin on any given day and who's the one that comes out on top there.
So this is where things already start to get a little exciting because I already see people making callouts for number 3, but might not be what you expect.
Yeah, you can take this one, Mav.
All right.
Hey,
Jackal, everyone's
Jackal.
favorite local Wolfmane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. He's got Larry Lur, Rivers, Venya, Juice. So back when we were talking about his wins and results and deciding who would be number 3, we kind of just looked at Jude's results and we were like, okay, he's got some of the PGR results, and he kind of went to like everything locally. He kind of just dominated everything he went to, either winning, top 3ing, that kind of stuff. The local consistency is what kind of like decided he was number 3 as opposed to the person that's next on the list. So
yeah, and I can kind of go into details about that. Like, again, between like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like everybody's pretty, like, Jackal, it could be very much interchangeable, with who's up at number 4. But again, what Mav said, like Jude's always been the PGR caliber, player. Obviously he's good at getting the wins, and obviously top 32, top however he places in a lot of these tournaments is obviously super impressive. But locally he also dominates. So he has a win on anybody notable in the state. He's got we put one of the fusions there, but he also has like there's also like
he's got like
5
dozens of other local wins. Yeah,
there's also like 5 or 6 fusions where he has like top 5 where he's won and stuff like that. So
well, he has a pretty even head-to-head with James. I don't know. Did he beat Tweak this season? He's beaten Tweak before in
I don't
recent
think
season,
so.
I think he did at one of the Platinum Weeklies.
It's possible.
Maybe.
He's beaten him at Platinum Weekly before. I just don't know if it happened this season. But either way, yeah, my man's grinding. He's at every single fusion and a lot of the Platinum Star Weeklies. So
yeah, so good on Jude. And obviously we didn't, that as I said from Let's Make Big Moves. And a lot of these profile pictures are being ripped from Twitter.com. So if you guys, so I apologize if we're not like properly citing anybody in the photo section. But literally some of you guys are impossible to find pictures of. So I'm just going to wherever I can. I just kind of went for wherever I can grab them. So we'll make sure to, give your respect dues for your photographers. But yeah, and we can move on into number 4.
Yeah, I think everyone's already kind of onto this one. It's Leon.
Yeah. So the big thing between
Bowser
obviously
main extraordinaire.
Yeah. So Leon, and Jude were. I think the big thing that came up for me here is that, at least for why Jude is 3 and Leon is 4, is that Jackal was like super dominant, and also at the big events that they did go to, Leon only really outplaced Jackal at one of those events, so on and so forth. But still, Leon is obviously a force to be reckoned with. He's definitely the gatekeeper for that 13th to 9th place, and he's a super good player, obviously, with the array of wins that he has. Obviously, players like Fatality and Sinji and so on and so forth. Also winning a super stacked tournament on Australia. So good on him for being able to get out of there before coronavirus got a hold of him. But yeah, it is kind of a shame because Leon is definitely like the world warrior. He tends to get flown out for a lot of these tournaments just because so he definitely is able to get a lot of different experiences, so on and so forth. So kind of a shame that the world is the way that it is, because obviously he was, I'm sure, setting up for another big summer. But again, top 5 player in New Jersey, top 30 player in the world, number 1 in a lot of players' hearts. So
I knew you were going there with that. That was amazing. well done.
Leon's like everyone's fave player to watch, probably. Yeah.
Playing the low tier Bowser. This character's so bad. Oh my god, and he's so good. And the thing is about like he's still succeeding, like right now. Like he's in quarantine series. He's been placing pretty well in Wi-Fi events. So the future is very bright for Leon. You guys already love him anyways. So shout outs to Leon. But anyways, number 5. I don't think this one is necessarily a mystery. Might surprise some of you, but due to just how things work, it's everybody's original favorite, Rivers.
Yeah. So the big thing for James this time around is that obviously there's a lot of personal stuff within James's life. Obviously, that's kind of keeping him, uh, out of things. But James is still able to get the array of wins. Like they're still, he's still getting wins on Tweak, getting wins on Jackal, so on and so forth. There was a little bit of inconsistencies with a lot of the placings and stuff. But obviously, top 32 at Glitch, as well as winning. You're trading wins at the weeklies and top 3 at the monthlies whenever he can. So there's just a little bit of inconsistencies, I'd say, on the bigger stages, because obviously 1 through 4 are these PGR players, or the PGR player level. So
yeah, I'd say, yeah. I'll let you weigh in, Mav, because you definitely played a lot.
It's whatever. All these last few guys, like Jackal, Leon, James, like they're always fighting for these spots. They're always in the top 5 within that area and threshold. Usually, you see like a Wishes in there, like here and there too. But yeah, these guys have always been up there. It's not too crazy to see any of them this high, like every season and all that. It always comes down to those small little factors, the head-to-heads and the placements and all that leads to, it's always tough looking at these guys' placements and deciding who's better and all that.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely one of the seasons where James, I'd say, bottomed out more often than not. There was a couple of 17ths. Obviously, he got 97th at Frostbite, which obviously doesn't, it doesn't really hurt him locally and stuff like that. But it is still something you have to consider. But James has never been one to really like care too much about where he's ranked. It's just he just kind of likes to play the game. But
he's very very much the local hero,
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I mean, he does TO as well. Like, that's not a new thing. So he goes to a lot of local events, and ever since, like, Tweak and people started coming out to locals, he gets a lot of wins from there. But, yeah, just traveling, sometimes a little tricky. But, anyways, yeah, that's your top 5.
Yeah, so, again, no real surprise there. This bracket of players, the 1 through 5, are usually your PGR, like, caliber players. I literally, 3 of them are on the PGR.
Yeah.
2 of them should be on the PGR, but are not. And again, it's kind of a shame that the world is the way that they are now, because it is now, because you would have really loved to see what James and Jude could do in the summertime with a lot of these big tournaments coming up. But yeah, so now we're gonna move into the 6 through 10 area.
Yeah, this is where things get real interesting.
Yeah,
now.
start placing your bets, but not on number 6, because that's already revealed right now. Because Adam
Tom, this is gonna come as a surprise
Adam SK.
Yeah, Adam SK, that guy that played Brawl. So people are gonna be, I'd say, initially shocked by this, but
just look at those placements, man.
Yeah, so the placements are obviously very good. So and people are gonna I'm sure there's people that are gonna sniff at the screen and be like, oh my god, Trevor was on the PR panel this season, he's number 6. Well, that's not the case, because out of anybody in this, I'd say, bracket of especially between 6 through 7, James has multiple sets on Trevor has multiple sets on James. He's got a win on Jay, who's number 1 or 2 in Canada. I don't remember exactly where. Obviously, Utopian Ray is a top 15 player in New York, and the placings are really good. He's one of the few people that can hold. He's one of the few people that can definitely hold a flame to the players like James and Gons and these really these gatekeepery sort of players in the state. And he's doing it all with a character that barely functions. And thank you for also putting Banjo in there, Chris. I also totally forgot about that.
I was gonna put Jigglypuff in there, but I didn't want to do that to any of us.
No, but yeah, you definitely look at the wins and the placings, and Trevor has had obviously inconsistencies. The last time he was ranked number 7, he kind of fell off to no fault of his own. It's just kind of the life I guess we live as a low tier main sometimes, but. Yeah, he's definitely out of the bracket of people here. Definitely one of the most, impressive. So good on him.
Yeah, and that's I personally like to see that, because Ultimate has been that perfect mix of just new players, old players, and Adam has obviously been around for a very long time. PR'd, what was it, the first season, second season, something like that. So
second season. So that's always pretty cool to see. And this next number 7.
isn't really a surprise when you really think about things if you've been keeping your eye out. And one of my personal favorite things that I see, and this is the part of the presentation where you start seeing, where the people have been placing and where the wins have been coming from. He's been going to literally everything he can, basically doing the thing that we've been telling people to do, where it's like, well, hey, bro, you want to be on PR, then hit up the events. Like, go to the events. Come on. Go to the monthlies. Go to the weeklies. Come on. Well, he did. He totally did. And he did really well at all of them.
Yeah, when you talk about guys that like are most improved and stuff like that, Straw Hat's easily like at the top of that list, man. This man is really on the come up.
Yeah, I've always said this about Straw Hat. He is one of the hardest working dudes, in the state for obvious reasons. He's got a great work ethic. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's slowly been making a climb. Man, he was I think 14th or 13th, when we did this a couple of seasons ago. Then he broke through into I believe it was top 10 last season. Now again moved up slightly more.
Only up, man. That positive mindset doing wonders for him.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
Young
real.
Link having the crazy arrow combos and all that. But,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the Young Link buff's definitely helping, but the wins are there, the play swings are there, and something that's the big difference between why Straw Hat is 7 and why Trevor is 6 is that Trevor just had slightly better, I'd say wins, at the super big events, and obviously having the wins on James and stuff definitely puts him kind of just in that tier slightly above. But
national results were definitely what decided that for sure. Because going to Genesis and being at Let's Make Big Moves as opposed to Straw Hat, who was kind of more dominant at everything locally, but what counts the most is like the really big national results and all that.
Sure. Yeah. Not that the locals didn't obviously make a difference as well, because if a lot of what's not a lot of what isn't like shown on the graphic is that Straw Hat literally won almost everything.
He won a lot of the SJ weeklies and a couple of DNAs, I believe, when he was able to travel out. Top 8 of the monthlies he went to. Like he really was consistent at everything he went to.
Yeah, no, he's a real world warrior for sure. But again, good on him for moving on. For moving up in the world here, moving on up to the east side of the north side of the top 10 rankings.
Yeah, and it's funny because he asks me every single time whether he'll always ask me for the inside information. I didn't give it to him this time at all because I don't think he ever thinks he makes it. But number 8 is one that I hold a little near and dear.
I'm so excited about this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good pick.
I know. Yeah, I was just ripping pictures from people's Twitters.
For sure.
Yeah, but Gons, aka YouTube Man, aka subscribe to my YouTube Man. When Gons decides to give a shit, it's truly a work of art. Because look at like the placings are really good, especially in a lot of these like more stacked weeklies. He's getting top 8 at the weeklies, obviously getting he got second at a pretty stacked DNA where he beat Sinji, where Sinji is kind of a force locally. Like he doesn't really lose to anybody. He's got a crap ton of wins, and he's always been that like one gatekeeper player. Like if you can beat Gons, you can probably beat any of the really good players in the area. So
yeah,
this is definitely one of those seasons where Gons is like you said before, probably didn't give too much of a shit as usual, but he just look at this. He's stacking up against people who are consistently active. Guys like Sinji, he's got wins on all those guys. He can still go. He's just got those smash fundies because he's just always been a veteran and all that. Even when he's not at his best, he still manages to break into the top 10. It just goes to show like how good of a player he is and how he can always manage to find something to do.
I never forgot that Gons started playing Game & Watch before it was cool. So
yeah, that's
the Smash 4 Gons.
Yeah, this is the real treat, is seeing Gons actually embracing the true main. So,
Chris, can I get the timestamp on this video for where you had to fast forward to get this?
Yeah, it was definitely at least an hour or something.
This is 35. We're at 35 minutes.
Oh, okay.
hold on. This one, no, this is at 51 minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was close.
No. For some reason, I was thinking the one we're doing right now. But yeah, this is a long set. And if anyone's watched DNA ever, and you see Sinji and Grand, you know to expect this. We've seen this, and I think
understatement of the year.
Yeah, dude, unknown set with Sinji, I think was like another 50 minutes or 55 minutes.
Also, subscribe to Gons on YouTube. Yes, I see you, Gons.
Yeah, don't worry.
That is all he wishes.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
all
Yeah.
he
that's
wants.
all he
Definitely
wants in the
subscribe to
world.
John's on YouTube. His YouTube videos make me happy.
Yeah,
So.
and it's now officially youtube.com/Gon's channel, so you guys
Success,
can
yes.
do that.
Successful content creator and a top 10 player in your state.
Possibly number 2 in your hearts.
So, possibly number 2 in your hearts. Leon's already number 1 in my heart.
That's what you
so.
got.
Yeah, that's already established. There's no refuting that.
There's no more room in my heart. Everybody else has to wait outside.
It's full. Sorry. The heart's all full. Anyway, so
9.
Dude, people are gonna feel good about this one because you've been calling for it for a while.
So let me just preface this by saying, we have exactly 2 newcomers on this PR, and one of them comes in hot at number 9, and it's Ace Attorney.
That's such an awesome pick.
Yeah, shout outs to Ramses for this one. So definitely, I'm sure would come as a bit of a shock, but Ace Attorney probably had one of the best starts to this part of the year. Obviously, 33rd Let's Make Big Moves. Can't scoff at that stuff. Obviously.
Yeah, the legendary S tier run, bro.
Yeah, no. Obviously a win on JW, who at the time I believe was still the best player in Canada.
He was definitely number 1 at the time. Yeah.
Number 1 in Canada. Matty G's a top 5 player in New England, which is one of the hardest regions. And obviously, getting the wins in on players like Jackal and Christmas. So Ace Attorney has always been one of those players that's been like perpetually Glintendo. He's well constantly in the mix, near the bottom part of the PR. But obviously, he works a real job. He is the actual lawyer,
a literal lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah. So his schedule doesn't obviously allow him the luxury to travel as extensively as a lot of the other players in the area. But obviously, having the benefit of an S tier in your backyard and having top PGR level talent in the area as well. Definitely aids in that, and he was, finally able to get the wins where it counted, and yeah, good on him, man.
Yeah, so. Did he ever? I think as soon as that, like, for anyone that's been paying attention to results and stuff, nice pop. I think for anyone that's been paying attention to results and stuff, as soon as that S tier run happened, everyone knew he was gonna be on. It was just a matter of seeing how much more he could sprinkle in with the local results and all that. And from there, he just beat Jackal, Chris, me, even. I'm probably his best win. I don't know why I'm not on there, but whatever. But yeah, Ace, like he just killed it. He did it. He definitely got number 9 and deserved it. Nothing else really.
And it's a shame that obviously the world is the way that it is now. I'm gonna keep saying it a lot for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a minute till we can have offline tournaments and see what these guys can do. Steve, shut up.
I've never been more tired of being at home.
Yeah, so again, good stuff to Ace Attorney finally breaking through in a big way, top 10. So that's a big deal. And I feel like number 9 is usually like a hot spot for new players. Number 9 and 10 is usually where you see like a lot of the newer faces.
Yeah, the crazy breakthroughs and all that.
Yeah, and then we can just skip to number 11 now. Obviously, we don't got to talk about number 10.
Number 11.
I don't know, man.
I'll do number 10 because I'm actually personally proud of this. Because Mav, I think this is the first time you broke top 10, isn't it?
It finally happened.
It finally happened.
Is frozen over.
Yep.
Who let this happen?
Well, as you can see, it's definitely Jackal, Nixon, Zomba, and Jules' fault.
All their fault.
Yeah. So. You know what, man? I just want to say that I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
And just for the record, so people know that this is the case. Neither Trevor nor Mav debated for their spots. This is totally decided up by everybody else in the conversation. But yeah, you had a really good season, man. It's always been a case of consistency with you. That's always what I hammer home every single PR seasons, that you're good at getting the win.
My friends tell me all the time, bro. Like, Matt, you're always in that bottom end, but you're the most consistent of the bottom end and stuff. So yeah, definitely feels really good to be up here now. Even though it's like one of those seasons where not only were there only like 2 months of results, pretty much, but there was also like a couple inactive people that usually is in this upper echelon of players. I think I still have like the results to back up the spot anyway, regardless.
I totally agree with that.
How did I not die from that?
Mega Man's fucking broken,
dude. You may have got Zombra on this, did you? Did he make the expression?
Yeah,
I think that happens like every time you play. It's so funny that you picked Zomba out of all people to put on the VOD.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta.
Gotta represent, man, and that's game. So good stuff to Maverick.
Yeah,
there
he
is
gave a
what I would say.
Zombra. Dude, I saw the hand come up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Poor
Zombra. You're the best, man. You
I
are
definitely
you are a
remember
good
shaking
sport.
after the set.
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. But yeah, again, good stuff to you, man. Finally breaking through, in a big way. Leo DiCaprio winning the Academy Award.
Hey.
Yeah, dude.
Yes. But now I feel like we definitely should have just ranked you 11th anyway. Also, just out of respect for the
Yeah,
meme.
like just
Yeah, just
keep
for
it
the sake
going.
of keeping the world from imploding. Yeah.
Like 11 through 13 is officially Maverick country. Just because you've cycled between all three of those sets, all three of those numbers at some point.
Except 15, but yeah.
Except 15. Were you ever 14? I don't remember. I don't think you ever were.
I think I was always like 13 or 11 or
Yeah,
12.
you've never been lower than that. So, yeah, moving on as we're trucking along here. So I think this person has been ranked before,
Mhm.
in a previous game, but I don't think they've ever been ranked in this game, to my knowledge.
Wait, hold up. Coming up next?
Oh, never. Wait, who's number 11? Never mind. Yeah, you're right.
We got one more before
I'm-
we get there.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I actually
No,
forget.
11's another guy you might recognize.
Oh yeah, it's Lewis. I forgot
This-
Lewis.
Yeah. Look at this dude.
This dude.
He's also wearing a shirt to match his own his profile for his main. So
Oh yeah, that's cute.
Is he trying to pose like Wolf?
if he
Yeah.
is,
Is that an
Ramses
attempt?
deserves a raise. Oh, there's a win. There's also a win I forgot to put on there for Lemon T's win. He also got a win on Tony Z-Tank, who's like the second best player.
He
in
he had another really good S tier run actually. At Let's Making Moves, he beat Mile, who is now top 10 in New England, I believe.
yeah, and
Tony
Tony
Z-Tank,
Z-Tank,
like we
who's
just
number
mentioned.
2. Yeah, he's number 2 in Nebraska, and also
Lewis?
the
Yeah.
last. Yeah, he's also the last known man to play Smash 4 Sonic in Smash Ultimate. Because my God, whew. But that's
Oh,
a different.
man.
That's for a different podcast. But yeah,
The character that just doesn't function. But yeah, Lewis, oh man, he secretly just decided to kill it this season. He just so he had really high highs, like the ones we mentioned earlier. The Let's Make Big Moves run was really, really big. It was a really close debate between whether he or I should be number 10. It kind of came down to me being more locally consistent, but yeah, like Lewis was easily on that skill level of being top 10. Definitely deserves a spot. He's been doing nothing but beating big names. He right now, this is probably his biggest win right here. He beat the Buzz, number 5.
yeah, and you can say it's the
top
Buzz
5 in New
violence,
York.
but the Buzz. Hey, listen, the Buzz willingly, went violent in this tournament, knowing what could happen. So win's a win, baby. I've always
Yeah,
been
the Buzz is still the Buzz.
Yeah, I've always been a proponent of, if that's that you lay in the bed that you make for yourself. So, good stuff from Lewis, obviously. The Buzz is still a household name for obvious reasons.
Dude, DeBuzz made a
And-
video right after
Yeah.
this tournament. I don't know if you guys remember that.
He did. I do recall that.
I think he even cursed Lemon T's name. Well, not quite, but almost.
Yeah, so anyway, good stuff there to Lewis. He spent a couple seasons off the PR, but
He
now
keeps
has two
coming
straight
back here and there. Yeah.
yeah, 2 straight seasons on the PR. So again, it's just a matter of just the consistency. That's that obviously Lewis has
I
to
heard
break
he's-
up with.
I heard
Yeah.
he's working on making that Mario Kart PR at the moment, so he's not
My
really doing
man.
as much Smash.
Let's go.
Yeah, real quick, Lewis, if you're watching, just know that I am in the building now.
That's
I love that.
oh man. That's
For anyone that gets that inside joke, bro. Just
oh
have
man.
it embedded there.
Yeah, again,
Alright,
shout
so
out.
yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Lewis.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Yeah, so now we move I guess further. Yeah, like this. So I am correct. This person
Yeah,
has
now
been
you
ranked
got it.
before. This person has been ranked before, but not in this game, to my knowledge. So it is technically still new. It's Chaos. Ta-da!
Here he is.
He's here.
He's here.
Yeah, so Chaos has always been one of those like like perennial he's like so good, man. Like he's always, the OG Bowser, one of the I'd say hidden threats in the area. One of the big wins there obviously being the a Philly arcading with a metric fuck ton of people at it. But those still technically count. So hey, we take those, I guess. Yeah, obviously 65th to Let's Make Big Moves and always placing top 3, top 4 and a lot of the weeklies that we have in the area, and doing it all with Bowser with a little bit of Cloud and whoever other characters he decides to kind of play in there, and obviously getting wins on a lot of the big players in the area, man. Also, for people, I'm literally just pulling pictures from people's Twitter, so take up the lack of sauce with those guys. But
Yeah,
good
you
stuff.
bring your
Yeah,
own
good stuff on
sauce these days.
good stuff on David. The big separation here between just 12 and 13 for reference sake is the fact that Chaos definitely attended a lot more. But we'll dive more into that when we get there. But yeah, two Bowsers on the PR. Chaos at one point in time, people might forget this, was a top five player in New Jersey.
Yep.
Then the education system bodied him. So
definitely cool to see him back on because everyone knows he's good. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he finally owns a Switch now in the year 2020. What a time
that
to get
definitely
one.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. So we are. Poor Vince. I hate having to use that.
You always feel bad for the one losing in the VOD, yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's like one of the homies. You hate to see it.
For sure.
Yeah, no, 13 might take people by surprise. Is that
it will take a few people by surprise because this person is notorious for like casually sneaking in an area.
It happened one other time for sure.
Yeah, so moving right along here is Roxas. Ta-da! So Roxas, the big standout here is Frostbite 2020. He got 33rd, and he got wins. He got a Wadi win, which is Wadi's a top 30 player. I think Wadi's a top 20 player in the world, as well as wins on Emperor Gabriel and Tamim, who are really good players in their respective regions. And the big thing with Roxas is that literally he almost never goes to anything. He went to exactly, I think, the bare minimum. But it is hard to ignore the fact that he beats a top 20 player in the world. And stuff like that. And again, the big reason why you give it to Chaos, instead, but
attendance.
You give it to
Chaos,
it's
pretty
attendance.
much just that.
Personally, I like, again, other panel members in other regions, I'm sure feel the way that kind of knocking somebody for the amount of things they go to is kind of lame, but again, it is what it is.
Yeah,
so
you just can't ignore like the one really big national result that he has, along with a couple decent local results.
Yeah, you can't.
I mean, Roxas has always been that dude that everyone's called like a high level player. Like you just have to look at his results and you can immediately realize why he's on here. It doesn't take too long to figure that out. It's just when you travel out and you do as good as he does, you don't need too much more to guarantee a spot on PR. At least from how the system works. But yeah, that's pretty much how that goes.
Yeah. So So I've said that there was 2 new players on the PR this season. But spoiler alert for myself, I lied. There's actually 3 new players on this PR.
Dude, that was a mix, dude.
Yo, I'm Andy's mom pulling Buzz Lightyear out of the closet.
Yo, get mixed
in the situation, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The
love
the last new player on the season's PR will be kind of a shock, as the BuzzFeed article would say. But once you look at the wins, it does make a lot of sense, Chris, if you may.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's the #1 on the game developer PR right now.
Ta-da!
Everyone's favorite Twitter memer, bro.
It is close, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, coming in hot is everybody's favorite meme man. It's Jut.
Funny Incineroar main, yeah.
So I'm going to be honest. On my first, and this picture by Ramses, once again, is absolutely fantastic. Chris looks like he's in like a different part of the earth.
Wait, what?
Yeah, different plane of existence.
So let me explain what's going on here. So I'm going to be honest. Jut was not on my radar of players to look at when this first started. Again, he submitted, and I did not look as closely at it as I probably should have. But again, when you look at the wins, they're impressive. Obviously, the Buzz win is the Buzz win, and Mr. E win and a Zamba win. Obviously, those guys are constantly winning the locals they go to. Mr. E is, I'd say, one of the other benchmark players that, like, if you beat this guy, you can definitely compete with anybody. And he's doing it all with a character that like barely functions half the time in Incineroar. And there's a bunch of results there. Obviously, he gets a lot top 8 at a lot of like the stack weeklies like Fusion, as well as the DNAs and such that he goes to. So 13th and 5th place, 9th place at a lot of these weeklies definitely makes a huge difference. So again, good on Jut, sneaking in there at the end here, almost at the end.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, dude. I was kind of in the same boat as you, Koopa, where initially when we were making up our list and all that, I kind of didn't pay too much attention to Chris just because like looking at his placements, it wasn't always too great. Like he kind of had a rough start, I feel like, but towards the end, he just decided to pop off. Like he was just like, you know what? Let me just beat Mr. E and all these other guys and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
those wins.
Yeah, man. Good on Jut, and he's at one point a top player in another game in Project M when he was like 19. So good on him. That's obviously a big feat for him, and hopefully when we start to get the offline tournaments, he can continue with that consistency. Hopefully with a better character. So
Always need a little bit of Incineroar cheese in there, though, no matter what.
yes, sir.
Well,
Alrighty.
yeah, I don't know
So
if anyone has any last words before number 15. This is it.
So
All bets
yeah,
are off.
so this last one
We'll
was
talk-
really,
yeah.
really close.
We'll talk more about it at the
Once we reveal it.
after things revealed. But I'd say for the sake of saying it, this is the tightest fight for 15 I think we've ever had, to my knowledge. Like most times it's pretty cut and dry. There's just one guy that just happens to have one big flash in the pan, and then everybody else just kind of fails by comparison. But this was really, really tight between two guys. But
You ready?
number 15 on the PR, returning once again. And for the first time ever, we have two South Jersey players on the New Jersey official PR.
South Jersey popping off right now.
Yeah, with a great picture, by the way. Vince is impossible to find pictures of. So
it's just him with filters.
Yeah, it's very funny. But yeah, Vince sneaking into number 15 on the PR this time around. Obviously, lots of top 8s, lots of top 16s and such at the weeklies. And outside of Straw Hat, whenever anything he went to in South Jersey, he pretty much ended up winning. Obviously he's got wins on Straw Hat, Lemon Tea, Boost and Kugi. A lot of household names, players that are really, really good. Vince, again, just having just enough in the tank to get on back on the PR this season. The first time since he was ranked top 10. So
yeah, this is what was it? He's season 1? Was he season 1?
Yeah, it was season 2, I think. It was one of the first.
Yeah, he was number 10.
Yeah, I mean, really, that was the season he had wins on James and other people. Yeah, he's a really good player, obviously.
Now, this is always the part that for me sucks the most. There's so many really good players, man, and nobody wants to be the guy that's left out of the party, and it sucks. And it sucks for us to have to do it too, because this is truly agonizing, because not only because we obviously want to do right by the numbers, we also we're obviously friends with a lot of these people, so it's a hard job to do, and it's a big reason why people like Biddy have been trying to jump ship for a while because it just kind of sucks. But yeah, poor Lewis getting kind of clipped here.
Well, so here's my perspective of it. It can suck. It sucks leaving people out, but the reason we do 15 people in the PR, and the reason that we throw so many events for people to try and make PR is because the variety is good, believe it or not. So seeing different people, whether they be on one season and then off another, or just whatever, consistently on there is a good thing, because then not only do we get to learn new players and personalities and kind of just see the scene in total, but I don't know, just overall just good for growth of a scene. So while you might not make it this season, these rankings aren't going anywhere. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a time to try and grind and make it.
Yeah, and the big thing here is that things that we look at to try to find the differences in people is obviously attendance is obviously a big thing. How often did this person bottom out? How good are the wins? Did this person DQ out of losers? What's the head-to-head between this person and that person? There are little things that can either push you ahead or push you below.
Losses too, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and stuff like that too. And obviously, before we get into what we're gonna call, just for lack of a better term, honorable mentions, I just want to make this clear. Again, this is not an official ranking.
Don't put it in your bio.
Yeah, this isn't gonna be on the graphic. Who's being done by Dark Genex, who also did the Melee NJPR, which came out fantastic. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. We don't put it in your bio, like Mab said. These do not count for anything. It's just, hey, these are the people that were kind of in the area for what was happening here. And obviously, the big name that we looked at for the end of here, the real big one was Boosk. That was the one that kind of hurt the most to leave off. Again, it was just about right there, but Vince just slightly had the edge.
It was like the head-to-head and the local dominance that kind of came through for Vince.
Yeah, head-to-head. There was a couple of other things, obviously, but it was tight, man. There was a bunch of other guys that were in the mix too. Malarson, we looked at. There's a couple of other guys that we looked at for that end spot, and it was really, really tight, guys. Like, you guys have no idea how hard it was this time around.
We took a hot minute to decide it. Yeah.
It took like a couple of hours of us sitting down to look at it. There's there's still people that obviously it ain't gonna be perfect every time around, but by the numbers, everybody agreed that this was probably the best job that we were able to do. But
and I do know, I know we're not talking about it too much, but just to put it on your guys' radar, I do think there might be a little bit of a change up on how rankings are done. In terms of raw data. Possibly.
Yeah. So I can't speak for what RJ's doing because I'm not a TO, and Mav is like 3/4 of a TO, and he doesn't know what's going on. So
I just play Mega Man and look at Smash stuff,
Yeah. So basically, how things are gonna, we don't know how things are gonna go for this upcoming season. If it goes to an online ranking, that might be what ends up happening. I saw somebody say that we can do a separate PR for Wi-Fi, but spoiler alert, we can't do that because we can't have in-person tournaments for however long we can do that. But
that's the thing is I want people to realize the way these rankings were done. A lot of the events, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, a lot of the events that you see in people's best placements or where they got their best wins from places, I would say we'll say 6 or 7 through 15. They were all events that usually occur on either Master Hand. Obviously, there's Fusion on Square One, and those basically compensated for all of the results. So for Wi-Fi rankings, those events span like the globe. So tracking those is even tougher than like tracking the ones that we are able to see, let alone like what happens where and who's where.
Again, I don't want to speak for RJ, so I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. Once we do, obviously stay tuned for some sort of information. Obviously, it is kind of hard to incentivize people to enter online tournaments because there isn't a lot of there isn't a whole lot of things you can provide outside of money compensation and such. But yeah, it's we'll see what happens. Again, I can't say we're doing a Wi-Fi ranking. I'm not gonna put words in anybody's mouth.
I don't know anything. I'm not sure about Wi-Fi ranking.
Putting it out there just for people to be get the idea warmed up in their head, I guess.
You want to know, I mean, the real way a Wi-Fi ranking would work is basically to have several TOs who are hosting events pool together to do one, but it's pretty hard to get people to work together on anything, let alone something like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's we'll cross that bridge. I agree.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, obviously, guys, you guys can watch back the VODs and stuff like that. As for when the graphics coming out, because I saw Lewis ask about it, the graphics being done by Dark Gen X. He did the Melee PR. That'll probably be done sometime in the middle of the week, and then we'll be posting that on our respective social medias. And so that's about all we have for this time. Again, once we have more information on what's going to be going on, once we figure out what's going on with things upcoming, we'll make sure to make an announcement about it. But obviously, with things, being the way that they are right now, we're not really sure what's going to happen. And I also want to say thanks to Mav and Trevor, if he's still here, for helping out in crisis time. Because I quote, literally somebody on the panel has corona. So everybody which are hungry a speedy recovery, because I'm sure he's still shitting his brains out somewhere. But
before we do conclude though, if you're sitting home and you do have a LAN adapter or whatever, I shouldn't say this even if you don't. But, like, I don't know, man. The online tournaments at this point, you're right. There really isn't any incentive. Wi-Fi sucks, yada, yada, yada. But, like, if you're going to be sitting home playing, like, what's it called? Frickin' Elite Smash or Quick Play, I don't know, man. Come hang out with your friends. A lot of these streams, especially at a time like this, serve as kind of a point for people to hang out. So take advantage of that. Obviously, there are some tournaments like Quarantine Series happening now that has a ton of money based on thrown in it. But chances are, and don't take this the wrong way, anyone, you're probably not going to win it. So if you're gonna get tilted, just get tilted with your buds. The channels still serve as a place to like hang out. And
Yeah.
I can only speak for Master Hand, but the more this channel grows, the more I'm trying to add more forums of hanging out like that. Because, I don't know, it's good to just have a place to just sort of, like, I don't know, even chat right now. It's nice seeing everyone kind of out and talking. So it's not all bad. I would advise not to take it too seriously. Try out some new characters. Don't take it to heart if you don't win things or if there's, like, a lag. Because you know it. You already know it. You already know Wi-Fi is inconsistent. So why get frustrated?
Yeah, and obviously, I just want to say it is good to see everybody in the chat. We've had a steady slew of goons.
Yeah, you miss everybody.
in the chat, and I just want to say, I think I speak for everybody to say this. I miss you guys. And
Absolutely.
It'll be good to finally be able to see everybody in person again once the government says that we can all be within 6 feet of each other.
Yeah, we'll be at like 5 feet and 11 inches apart because that's how much I miss you. But
yeah, it was definitely good to see everybody in the chat today, and again, thanks for sitting down and talking with us today, gentlemen. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The VOD will be up, I'm sure, later today. The
for
bracket
sure.
will be out sometime later. Well, the graphic will be out sometime this week, like I said. And yeah, we'll see you guys once we figure out what the hell the plan is for next season. So until then, do you guys got any parting words to say?
Yeah, just thanks. Well, my last thing. Just thanks again for everyone who does support. This channel is working on changing a bit to not be just a Smash channel, and there are sub goals now. I'm pretty serious about making a Master Hand Minecraft server just as a means for people to like kind of hang out and sort of like bot with each other in terms of just having like something sort of simple and not going to hurt your ego or pride that you could just hang out with each other that isn't competitive. So I'm pretty serious about making a Minecraft Applebee's. So if you agree with that vision, stay here. It's very real. Anyways.
Yeah, I've already turned my living room in Animal Crossing into a diner. So just to feel something again.
Yeah, exactly. So we could be hanging out, man. It was going to be VR chat, I was thinking, but Minecraft is something a lot of people have, and I think is actually pretty good for our creative brain. So think about it. That's stuff I'll be working on. But Mav, yeah, thank you for joining us, man. Good feeling. You are welcome back anytime.
It's pretty cool, man. So yeah.
Yeah, we love to
have you. I just want to say also, like, I guess meme aside, I know things are tough right now for everyone, being stuck at home or whatever their situation is, maybe even struggling financially. My piece of advice to anyone with any issues right now or just feeling down in the dumps is just have something to look forward to, and what we have to look forward to is when all this is over, everyone can just get together, go to locals just like usual. Years from now, we're gonna look back and just be like, oh man, I remember 2020, like.
Yeah, you'll say, do you remember season 5? That's what you'll say.
Yeah.
Be like, bro, do you remember season 5? Yeah, that's why we're numbering the seasons, man. This shit is like it writes itself.
Do you remember when Mega Matt helped with the New Jersey panel, man?
Yeah, it was like seasons 5 through 10 until he decided he just hated everyone.
Oh man, yeah, that's so.
Yeah,
that's about it from all of us. And again, I hope everybody's staying safe. Everybody's keeping their spirits up. Playing Valorant if you can get a beta key for it, and all that other fun stuff. But yeah. I guess that's it.
That's what we got. Yeah, keep it here. We'll be doing more podcasts again. Koopa will probably be back with that next week, I'd say.
Yeah, sure. We'll be back with another podcast next week. We'll figure out a fun topic to talk about. So.
All right, but guys, have yourself a nice day, and as always, yeah, share the stuff if it's cool. It'll be on YouTube later.
Bye.
I'm gonna play video.